So, today I'm going to talk about books, my favorite books, and my favorite series and everything like that. Okay, well, this book, Inkspell, I got it and I read it and I loved it. I loved it so much. It was like just everything about it was wonderful. From like the quotes at the beginning of each chapter. I think this was around the time when I started getting obsessed with quotes and I started making a quote book. This is the second book in the Inkspell and Carved in Death series. I actually read this book first, and I like it better than the first one. It's about a person who can read things in the stories alive. And it's like every nerd's dream to be able to read themselves into, well, this one they actually read themselves into the book, but wouldn't you love that so much, to be able to read yourself into your favorite story? Except it doesn't really turn out the way you'd want it to, but I think I'd still probably do it. Okay, I'd probably die if I did that, but we'd probably all die if we did that. Okay, so that was one of the first books I ever really fell in love with. Another one is this one, Spindle's End, by Robin McKinley. She is one of my favorite authors and has been since 4th grade. We used to go on these trips where the people who got the most AR points, accelerated reading, in case you didn't know, we had to get a certain amount of points, read a certain amount of books, each one was a certain number of points, and we'd take tests online to show we read it, and we'd get those points depending on how well we did. So the people that got the most got to go on a trip to Barnes & Noble, which I love that store. I would live in that store if I could. It's huge, it has a little cafe, it has comfy furniture. I want to go there now. Someone take me there. If we ever meet up, we should go there. Take me there on a date and I'll love you forever. Sort of. So I got this book there. We were only supposed to be getting, young adult novels, and I guess I was the exception to that. I mean, yeah, whatever. I sound like I'm bragging, but I had a college reading level when I was in 5th grade, so they let me do it as I wanted, and I got this one. And the next year, when we went back, because I obviously went back, I got this book, which is a little more grown up, but it's still one of my favorite books. I've read it so many times, it's so worn out. Look at these. This is so bad for the books. I feel so bad, but I love paperback books so much more than hardcovers. Hardcovers normally because they're heavy, and they're not pocket size. This book was actually, one of my bookshelves was painted, and my parents put my books on it before it was completely dry, so it was painted at the bottom, and now a bunch of the pages are falling out. See? But I couldn't really, I don't want a new book, even if it has the same cover. I'm kind of obsessed with original covers. I like to read the books with the covers I've originally read them with. So, it's kind of picky of me, I know, but I can't help it. I like them better that way. And then there's the last year I went 6th grade. It was this book, and this is my all-time favorite book. I read it about every three or so months, and I've had it since 6th grade, so that's 6 years. I've read it every three months, so 4 times a year for 6 years. 24 times. I've read this over 24 times. I'd be like cleaning my room, and I'd sit down and I'd open it up and I'd start reading, and I'd keep reading and keep reading and keep reading. Then I'd go back to the beginning and read the whole way through again. And that's how I'd spend my day, cleaning my room, and not really. So yeah, these are my 3 favorite books. She has other stories, like she has a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. The retelling is actually a series of The Sword and the Stone. I haven't read that one or any of the other ones. For some reason, I just can't bring myself to do it. Oh, by the way, this is a retelling of Sleeping Beauty, Spindle's End. I just like the way she takes the books. This one, it's apparently based off one called Donkey Skin? I've never heard of that one, but I might read it someday if I can. This is vampires in a whole other world, and it's just amazing. Everyone should read it and love it, and yeah, all that. Isn't the cover beautiful? I love it. I'm so glad I got this one and not the other ones. Okay, so there's that. Patricia Briggs. So, yeah, she wrote the Mercy Thompson series and the Alpha and Omega series, which are werewolves and vampires and fae. And I really don't know when I got into these, but my cousin let me read the first two books, and I love them. I absolutely love them. These are the first two: Moon Called and Bloodbound. The Moon Called cover it's good. It's a nice cover, but this one and all the other ones, they just slowly get better and better and better, and they're wonderfully drawn, and I love all the detail and the tattoos. So these are the first two, and I love them. And then I saw this one, third one, in Walmart, or was it Sam's Club? One of the two. And I just had to buy it. I bought it and I read it, and this one I think I've read the most because I've had it the longest. The other two I didn't get until there's leaves sticking out of that one. Yeah, I have this habit of taking leaves and flower petals and I'll press them into my book so they stick them in there and leave them there until I get to read the book again. So yeah, I read this one the most. I had it like 3 years before I got the other ones. It's the third book in the series. I'm not going to describe the series to you because that would take a really long time. There's this book going across, the fourth one. There are 7 books in the series total right now. She's working on the last one. It's going to be out soon. I am so happy. I cannot wait. It's going to be wonderful. It's called, I have a little bit up here. It's called Night Broken. And this is my all-time favorite grown-up series, I guess you'd call it. It's not young adult. The past few books have shown you aren't young adult at all. They have certain scenes in them that aren't appropriate for little ones. But they're all grown up, all people watching this, I hope. So I guess it's fine. Another book, a series that I found. It was in summer before I went to 7th grade. I was 11. I was pretty young for a 7th grader. But it was called The Lake House. And it was the second book in a series. I didn't know that. I was at my cousin's house and her mom had this really big library. And I found it and I read it and I loved it. And then I found this other book by the same author, James Patterson, you probably know him, called Maximum Ride the Angel Experiment. And I read it and I loved it so much. It was the first series I was ever dedicated to that I wanted to read all of them. I wanted to collect all of them and all that stuff. And it was a paperback. It had the original cover, the original printing, and it's a young adult novel now. They still sell them. They're really popular, obviously. But the original, they took out the swearing because they originally swore a little bit. The series was based off the first book I read that I really liked. It's a science fiction, which is kind of odd considering I don't like most science fiction. The first 3 are my absolute favorite. The fourth one, it's not bad, but the last 3 are kind of, yeah. And it ended, I don't think I like the ending now that I think about it. But he did start a new series called Confessions of a Teenage Murder Suspect that you should really read because it started out awesome, the preview that I read. So other books. Golden Compass. This is this series. I hate it, and I love this series so much. It's one of the first books I ever read that didn't have a happy ending. The ending was something that, like, you well, you either hate it, you love it, or both. There's no in between. It's such a good ending and it fits the story wonderfully, but you don't want it to happen so much. It's so horrible. It's a 3-part series. Golden Compass, the subtle knife, subtile knife, I don't know how to say that, and the Amber Spyglass. And it's just, you probably saw the movie. The movie, it's a good movie, but it does not follow the book. It is not as good as the book. Read the book. Read it. Read it. Read it. Read it. Blue Ability. It's about a little girl whose family is really poor, and her uncle is the headmaster of a school in Sweden, and she gets to go and stay there and experience life in another country in a boarding school with people from all around the world, and it's really, really good. Look, it's her other book, Walk to Moons. I really, really love that one too. It's wonderful. You should read it. And Chasing Redbird, that's another one. You should read it. It's really, really good. I like it a lot. It's written. I first read this when I was really young. I had no idea how old I was. Apparently it was before I learned to sign my name, but after they started calling me Anne, I'd rather people not call me that, but I don't really have a choice about it. Oh, viva, viva! Yeah, well, I really like it. I wish I had a sequel. I'd read it, definitely. Burn, everyone knows who Ellen Hopkins is in her poetry books. Burn was the first book I read by her, and it's, at the moment, my favorite, even though I've read a few other ones I've read. Crank, Glass, Tricks, Impulse, and Identical. Actually, that's all of them on the back of this one. But Burned is still my favorite. Feels. It makes them work. Murder mysteries. I kind of like those. This one's not too bad. It starts off with an infant skeleton in a suitcase hidden in a wall. So, yeah, that gets you interested. Just a little bit. I also really like historical fiction. One of my favorites is Uprising. It's about the Triangle Shirtless Fire, and you should really read it. It has the lives of 3 young girls. I won't tell you what happens, even though it's killing me. I really, really want to. Another one is Bloody Jack. Curse the Blue Tattoo Under the Jolly Roger, In the Belly of the Bloodhound, Mississippi Jack, My Bonnie Light Horseman, Rapture of the Deep, The Wake of the Lorelei Lee. Those are the books in order. This is the first. It's a really good series. You should read it. And read it and read it. It's about a girl who's born an orphan. A few other series that I don't actually have the books, but I'm going to tell you about them anyway, are Wicked Lovely. Everyone knows that one. It's the reason I like Fae books. I like the way that the series is. It doesn't focus on the same 2 people. Every single book, it switches its focus, but still manages to tell a story in a way that the last book, you can go back to the people in the first book and still understand what is happening. There's also the, what's it called, Bones of Fairy. You should read it. I don't remember who it's from. And then there's also Thief Eyes. They're by the same author, Bones of Fairy and Thief Eyes, and you should check them out because they're cool. There's the Young Wizard series by Diane Duane. It's, okay, don't sue me, but it's, for me, I think it's better than Harry Potter because it takes a more logical approach to magic. It kind of starts off the same way where they start out 11 and 12 years old, and as they go through, they get older, but it's not like Percy Jackson one summer, the next summer, the next summer, or Harry Potter school year. It goes, it just continues on. At the end, it skips the right amount of time, whether it be 6 months or 3 months. The main character is, well, characters are a girl and a boy. You can't really, it's written in third person, so you can't really tell who's the focus until you've read a bit into the series because they're together so much in all their adventures and stuff. But I'm pretty sure the main character is a girl. It makes me sad that not many people read it. I mean, the first book was written back, I think, I'm pretty sure it was written the year I was born, 1995, or it was published the year I was born. I'm not even sure that's true. It might be 97. I'm really bad at dates. Pretty bad for a history major, isn't it? Characters start out, they live in New York, their families are in New York, and they meet each other in the first book, and it just grows on you. There are a lot of books in the moment. The first book is called So You Want to Be a Wizard. They all have the word wizard in them. And they slowly grow up and mature and change, and you'll just fall in love with them, I know you will. There's another, you all know the Neil Shusterman, I think that's how you say his name, who wrote Everlost, which was actually, I think I found that before I found Unlined. It was so creepy and such a good book. Everlost is about ghost kids, which is also creepy but such a good book. He's a wonderful author. I should keep reading his books. I should stop playing with my hair. There's also Peeps. It's a new take on vampires, and I really like it. And then he also wrote Midnighters. I found that book first before I even found the Ugly series. I found it and I loved it, and it was actually, it's one of the first entries in my book, Midnighters. The first book, I'm pretty sure, is called The Midnight Hour. Another one is A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray, and it has magic, and the ending is one of those endings that you're not sure if you like the ending. Artemis Fowl, oh my god, I can't believe I even forgot about that. They're making a movie. But the Artemis Fowl series, you should know them. I don't know why anyone doesn't. They're like, I found them before I found Harry Potter. But yeah, it's about fairies, not the fae kind of fairies, but the fairy kind of fairies. Sort of. The little boy genius wants to kidnap fairies and get a ransom, and just sort of goes on from there. The series is completely finished, so you don't have to worry about the author croaking before you can finish it and being all mad and anxious and whatnot like I am for every other book I've ever read. Revolution, you've got to read it. It's like Les Miserables. It's paranormal, not fantasy, so it's more like ghosts and past lives and stuff like that. And it deals with the French Revolution, and it has a wonderful quote. It's kind of serious, so if you're looking for a nice, lighthearted read, this isn't a good one. This thing is 40 minutes long. I need to go edit it. I don't really want to. Oh my god. I'm so lazy. So yeah, that's it for me today.